When someone goes missing, the first 24 hours of the investigation are crucial. As time passes, it becomes more unlikely that the investigation will have a positive outcome. Some families wait for decades for answers. However, these missing persons cases had a quick resolution. Number 5. 35-year-old Ricardus was last seen leaving his Cambridge workplace in September of 2015. Originally from Lithuania, Ricardus was reported missing as it was feared that he may have been trafficked. Friends and family were shocked by his disappearance and told police that there would be no reason for him to run away. However, in August of 2020, the truth finally came out after he was discovered living in the woods in Cambridge. The search for Ricardus was reignited after a new Facebook profile surfaced, giving new hope to family and friends that he was still out there. Police first made contact in early August when they found the 40-year-old living in the undergrowth. Cambridge police said that the area wasn't remote and plenty of houses and businesses were close by, and they were astonished that Ricardus managed to stay concealed for 5 years. He told police that he'd run away after an incident in 2015 that left him fearing for his life. With nowhere else to go, he turned to the woods and had been surviving however he could since. One of Ricardus' close friends made a statement to the Mirror, saying, "I don't know where he's been all this time till now. People think that he was dead. I'm happy he's alive because I know his family and he's a good man." Number 4. Christmas is a time for celebration, a time for families to come together and make happy memories. However, for the Fuster family from Hull, their Christmas was spent searching for 19-year-old Chloe Fuster. Chloe was last seen in Cranbrook Avenue with an unknown man on Christmas Day. After this sighting, Chloe wasn't seen again for 4 days and made no contact with her family. After her family had exhausted all leads and searched high and low, they reported her missing to the police on Boxing Day, sparking a large-scale search for the 19-year-old. Volunteers turned up to help in the search for the missing woman, with others helping spread awareness by posting missing flyers and circulating the information around social media in hopes of generating leads. Good news came for the Fuster family on December 29, 2020, when Chloe finally made contact with her family, following an appeal for her to come forward. Humberside Police Detective Inspector Simon Vickers made the following appeal via social media and local TV, saying, "I'd like to appeal to Chloe to get in touch with us. Chloe, you don't need to feel embarrassed. We just want to speak with you and make sure that you're safe and well." No further updates have been made in Chloe's case, and her family are now asking for privacy as they recover. Humberside Police have asked to remove missing persons posters and information from social media as it may be misleading. The 19-year-old is yet to make a statement about her disappearance, and so far, no explanation for her sudden vanishing has been given. Following her reappearance, Simon Vickers, the detective assigned to Chloe's case, made another statement saying, "Many people have joined in the effort to find 19-year-old Chloe Fuster. I'd like to thank everyone who has provided information to Chloe's whereabouts and to all of those who have shared our appeal." Number 3. 2020 was a difficult year for many people, and the case of Holly Courtier is no exception. The 38-year-old mother from California had recently lost her job due to the pandemic and was finding it harder and harder to make ends meet. Wanting to make the best of a bad situation, she decided to convert a van and travel around the US, hoping to pick up odd jobs along the way. To everyone who knew Holly, this seemed like the perfect idea for her. She was a free spirit and loved to travel, and this seemed like the perfect break. Just days before she disappeared in October of 2020, Holly attended a family dinner where she was displaying odd behavior. Her sister, Julian, told LA Times, quote, "We were having a dinner a few days before she left. She gave me a big hug and said, 'I love you so much.' She seemed a little choked up, almost like she wasn't going to see us for maybe a few weeks or something." Then, without warning, in early October, Holly left her California home in the middle of the night, headed for Zion, Utah. She left her phone behind and didn't tell anyone where she was going. She didn't leave a note or any explanation. October 6, 2020 was the last time that Holly would be seen for almost 2 weeks. She parked her van at Zion National Park and walked off into the distance. Holly was reported missing after her family awoke and realized she left without her phone or substantial clothes and supplies. Authorities managed to track her down as she'd used her credit card to pay the entry fee into Zion, and soon a large-scale search and rescue operation was underway. The 38-year-old claimed she'd set up a hammock in a grassy area and had fallen and hit her head. Unable to call for help or walk, she survived in the wilderness for 12 days by drinking from a nearby river. Thankfully, she was found just in time, but had suffered injuries to her feet as well as malnourishment, dehydration, and hypothermia. Despite all of this, onlookers said that Holly was able to get up and walk away as if nothing had happened. Members of the public were stunned at Holly's miraculous survival. However, suspicions soon turned towards the family. A GoFundMe page had been set up to help fund the rescue effort, but this quickly turned to conspiracy theories and whispers of a hoax. A wilderness expert commented that the water from the Virgin River contains toxic algae, and if Holly had been using this as her only water source, it would have been fatal within hours. They told USA Today, quote, if she'd been drinking that water, unless she had a really high immune system, she would have been very, very ill and probably unable to come out on her own. She either took a lot of water with her and had another clean water source that was nearby, but the Virgin River is not that source. The Courtier family have now been the target of online harassment, with people claiming that Holly's mysterious disappearance was really a plot to extort money from the general public. Holly's family have refuted these claims, stating that Holly had a mental breakdown and had gone into the park as a part of a spiritual journey. She intended to connect with nature and read her Bible. The family have now been forced to change their phone numbers and deactivate all of their social media as the harassment has become so severe. It appears that a full investigation into what happened to Holly Courtier is still underway. Her family are just grateful that she was found in time and is now safe at home. Number 2. Stuart B. departed from Cape Marina in Port Canaveral on November 27, 2020, only to be reported missing the next day. Concerned friends at the marina contacted his family after he'd failed to return home that evening. B was an experienced sailor, having made many trips on his current 32-foot boat named Stingray, as well as many other vessels. However, he almost never stayed out on his boat overnight, as he always went out to sea alone and wanted to ensure his safety, so when he didn't return to the marina as night fell, his family knew something was wrong. They immediately called the Coast Guard and reported him missing. Within the hour, the U.S. Coast Guard and other volunteers were out on the waters searching for any sign of the missing 62-year-old. It wasn't until 2 days later that he was rescued by a passing container ship as the crew saw him clinging to the bow of his boat. The crew of the 225-foot ship were able to bring him aboard and treat him for hypothermia and exhaustion. The U.S. Coast Guard was immediately notified and B was brought ashore. B explained that his 32-foot boat had encountered mechanical troubles shortly after he'd set off. He told the Daily Mail newspaper, "I'd been working on the engines. There were squealing noises on several parts of it. I didn't see anybody and I thought, this is it." B attempted to signal for distress, however he was unable to reach his radio in time. Instead, he floated in the water just off the coast of Port Canaveral for 2 days. Meanwhile, a missing persons report had been filed and family and friends were eagerly awaiting his safe return. One of the crew members aboard said, quote, "I chose to offer him my lucky shirt. I could have gave him a new one, but this one is my favorite. I wish him the same comfort this shirt has brought me during this time. Just like him, I was lucky. He was lucky that our course crossed near the Atlantic." While B was only missing for 2 days, his case could have ended with a far worse solution. Number 1. A viral video of a Colombian woman being rescued off the coast of Puerto Colombia helped to solve the mysterious disappearance of a woman who'd been reported missing almost 2 years ago by her family. 46-year-old Angelica Gayton was spotted by fishermen at 6 a.m. on September 26, 2020. The fishermen initially thought that the 46-year-old was deceased. However, upon bringing her onto the boat, they found that she was unconscious and suffering from hypothermia after being at sea for 8 hours. In 2018, Angelica cut off all contact with her family and seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. Her children commented that she simply walked out of the family home with no explanation, never to be seen again. She was quickly reported missing as she suffered from mental health issues, and in the months leading up to her disappearance, she'd been experiencing panic attacks that rendered her unable to live a normal life. Her daughter told an Australian news outlet, quote, "Every time she saw a high-end car, she would scream and say that they were coming for her, and that we should never let her get into one of those cars. She covered her face and said that a man was coming for her." Following her miraculous rescue, Angelica was transferred to a nearby hospital where she was treated for hypothermia and exhaustion. She told doctors that she left her family behind 2 years ago after escaping an abusive relationship, and that ever since she'd been living homeless, moving from city to city. Her family refute the claims that Angelica was being abused during the time that she was at home with them, and they're now trying to arrange appropriate mental health treatment. Angelica revealed that she had thrown herself into the sea after she'd been kicked out of a homeless shelter she was staying at, saying she simply didn't have the will to go on. While Angelica's family now have answers, they do have a long battle ahead of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But I've been Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.